Doesn't it sound like heaven to love your teen so well that they can't help themselves but love you back? Welcome to Pivot Parenting. I'm your host, Heather Frazier. And together, you and I are going to build more peace and joy so that your family looks forward to being together in the fun times and so that you are strong enough to overcome any obstacle that your family might face. This is where small weekly shifts that you implement create lasting change so that peace and happiness can truly abound in your home. Hello, my beautiful podcast friend. I hope that you are doing well. This is an exciting episode that I want to share with you. It's all about how to apologize, because if we are honest with ourselves, sometimes we need to apologize, and sometimes we are offered an apology that we can choose to accept or not. And I think that understanding more about the situation and about what a quality apology is and what it is not can educate and inform us to apologize with more positive effect and sincerity. And it can also tell us when somebody is apologizing in a way that maybe actually isn't an apology, but more to help them feel better rather than to better the situation. And so to begin, I want to talk about when humans apologize. It can come from a place of sincerity, or it can come from a place of wanting to somehow manipulate or control the situation. And it can also be a little bit of one and a lot of the other. And so as I break down these examples, I'll tell you what I mean. Number one is when we had nothing at all to do with it. I'm sorry when something doesn't go well. And this is something that I say to my kids a lot. When they get a bad test score, or their friends are rude, or they aren't sleeping well, I'll say, I'm so sorry, that really stinks. And they'll say, why are you sorry? You didn't do anything to do it. I didn't sleep good. But we can still be sorry when something is happening that we can't control. It's called being empathetic. On the manipulative side, it can be trying to control how people view us. I want to be seen as empathetic rather than I am empathetic. I want to control the narrative of how people choose to see me. Oh, she's so nice. She feels so bad that I'm having a hard day. So humans apologize even if they have nothing to do with it. The most common one is when we are at fault. So we yelled, we reacted before knowing all the facts, we missed something or messed up, and we want to apologize. We say, I'm sorry. And this can be because we genuinely feel bad for what we have created through our poor choices. Or again, we want to manipulate the situation so that we can get what we want. We can be back on good terms with that person. So we apologize when we're at fault. We can also apologize when we simply want to end the conflict. We might say sorry to wrap things up and be done. We fear what will happen if we don't apologize, regardless of who is at fault. This can be a form of self-preservation or people-pleasing. Again, it might be with good intentions or ill intentions. We might say sorry to an emotionally volatile spouse, boss, neighbor, or even teenager because we just want to be removed from the situation. We want to feel safe as soon as humanly possible. And this is a tactic actually that I see kids more commonly use on us. If we lose our tempers or if we overreact, they're going to want to escape that volatile situation really quickly. They're going to say, yep, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry. Can we please be done talking now? I need to go. And really, it's just, I need to get out of this situation really quickly because you're making me nervous or anxious because I don't know what to expect from you. So that's another way that we apologize. The fourth one is to repair trust and to mend a relationship. We desire a larger goal than being right. We want to be more in alignment with another person, and sorry is the price to pay. I'm sorry I yelled at you when you were absolutely right that I can be insensitive. I don't like being seen in that worst, not nice light, and you hit the nail on the head. And of course, I yelled. And I don't like that quality about myself, but I can't always stop myself. And I'm sorry. So we can apologize to trust and repair. We can also say these things in an abusive cycle. We can know what to say, but have ill intent of reeling this person back in so we can smack them back down later. And then the fifth thing is to manage our self-image, or how others see us. We want to be socially acceptable. We want to control the narrative of who we are, and we do this in a manipulative way. Sorry that I got mad that you're late, but you're actually not sorry at all because you hate it when they're late and you're going to vent to everyone all weekend, but you want them to think that you're actually a nice person. Or sorry that I said that about you, but you're only sorry that they're repeating your words at a large family dinner and calling out your bad behavior in others who now think ill of you. So sometimes people apologize because they want to control the image of who they are in society. Imagine your teen walking into the room and your heart skips a beat because you're so excited to see them. Just connection, love, and peace flowing between you. You're confident that no matter their mood, it's going to be okay. This is the powerful skill set my clients gain. Book a free Discover Your Disconnection Pattern call with me, and I will outline your exact process to find the peace, connection, and confidence in your teen and their future you're wanting. Visit my website, heatherfraser.com, or click the link in the show notes. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. I look forward to meeting and helping you. Before we take any steps forward, you need to understand why you are wanting to apologize, or why this person you think is apologizing to you. We can look at patterns. Does this person like to say sorry just so that I stay in relationship with them so that they can kick me later? That is a really common abusive cycle, right? We are just reeling people back in when we think they might run so that we can keep messing with them. It's important to recognize that if that's happening, or if you're the person doing this. Self-recognition is really important here. If you feel like there's manipulation going on, we want to reconsider how we approach the apology, whether we're giving it or intended to receive it. If you're trying to survive a potentially dangerous, and that can be not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual, financial situation, get to it. Stay safe, and then seek a long-term survival strategy once you feel safe in the moment. Now, if you truly want to make amends and strengthen your relationship with this person, here is the anatomy of a good apology. I want you to consider this in both how I apologize to people and how people apologize to me, so that you can recognize manipulation, possible abuse, and so that you can really dial in your craft to be able to communicate effectively how you really think and feel to somebody that you love. So the first thing is that you need to own your role. Own how you contributed to the problem. You yelled, you ghosted, you were passive aggressive, you were calling names, or you lost your temper. All of these things are human. We all do them to varying extents, and it is okay to say, yes, I did that. Now, that's the easy part, actually, of this step, because the hard part in this step is letting them feel however they want about it. So if you're apologizing and they disbelieve you, they get angry, they brush it off, they ignore you, they cry, they dance around chanting that they were right and you were wrong. It doesn't matter. This is not your business, friend. This is where most people mess up an apology right out of the gate. They do not need to apologize to you for their portion. This is all about you being your best self. They get to decide who they want to be. This isn't to get them to be anything other than who they choose to be, because otherwise you're being manipulative at worst or a dreamer at best. Let it go and take the high road. Let me reiterate. Own your role and let them see themselves and feel however they want. That is none of your business. The second thing is to make amends as best you can. Now, some things cannot be undone. Some words cannot be unsaid, but we can listen. We can seek to improve. We can own any relapse of the same mistake that we make. And we can also pay attention to if people are doing this for us. Acknowledging the impact that the damage caused is really important. Parents can offer therapy to kids to make amends, including their own attendance. I will go to therapy so that I stop doing this bad habit, or I will find a coach. Often, time is required for trust to be built. Prove that you mean it through consistent improvement. And that doesn't mean that mistakes aren't made. Of course, mistakes are made. Life is fraught with opportunities to apologize. This is called the human condition. Being good at apologizing just makes you humble, which is a quality that we all want to develop. So that's step number 2. Make amends as best you can. And we have to remember that they can accept those amends or not. That is their choice, and we can let them choose it. Number 3 is an important one, and this is so that we aren't being manipulated or abused. And it is to not take accountability for anyone else's behavior. If we're apologizing to somebody for good or ill, they might say, "You just make me crazy," or "You drive me to lie to you because you get so upset." No. You might apologize for yelling, or you might apologize for overreacting, but the moment that they say, "Well, you make me crazy, that's why I yell back," or "You drive me to lie to you because you overreact and you ground me and I don't like that, and so this is your fault." No. You need to own your portion and nothing more. I shouldn't have lost my temper. I should have been more kind. So this can sound like, "I love you and you are accountable for your behavior." You can't take credit for them being nice or honest. That's also their choice. Yes, parents can influence, and we do want to positively influence our child, but they still have agency. Just like they can't make you lose your temper, but they can make it easy to. They can influence you. They know what buttons to press, but you, my friend, still have a choice. You are not being acted upon, neither are they. This is how we grow our muscles. Everyone needs to own up to how they contributed to the problem. Rarely are things one-sided. So again, I'm at fault for this and only this. And we can't make somebody else take accountability. So let's say we get really mad because we asked them to text us and let us know, like, that they remembered a dentist appointment or that they arrived safely to their road trip, whatever it is. And they don't. And then they don't answer their phone and they don't answer their phone. So we get really upset. And they're like, "This is why I don't text you, because you always freak out." No, we can pause and say, "I'm sorry, I'm working on that." And please, I would love another chance. And they can say no. They can. They can say no. The older they get, the more autonomy they have to be how they want. And we can say, and we get that, and we love them, and we hope they'll reconsider. And we alter our behavior so that maybe that will invite their good behavior. And then we just repeat this process. This is a reps kind of evolution. We got to get our reps in. Practice, fail, keep trying. It's really hard to stand there emotionally naked and have someone tell you all the ways that you have hurt them. Trust me, I know this. You might not have known. You might have had a completely different intention. I have a child, and this child told me that they thought, I think this was maybe like when they were in junior high, that I was spying on them each night when I would come and say goodnight. That I suspected sneaky behavior, which they were doing. I had no idea, but I actually just make sure that I say goodnight to each of my children every night. And I felt bad that they thought this, that I was so ill-intended. I think it was partly a guilty conscience on their part for what they were doing. But like, I just love them, and I wanted to come and kiss them and tell them I love them and good night. But they thought I had ill intention. And I was so sorry and sad that they felt this way. And of course I was like, I'm so sorry. That was never my intention. And this can also be when we have messed up. I've also said to my kids, I'm so sorry. I did the best with what I knew how at the time, and it wasn't that good. And I am sorry. And then they can sit and tell me exactly how bad it hurt them. And it's really, really, really important to not do any of these following things. And this is not an all-inclusive list, but it will give you the general picture of what I mean. Please, 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 never say, well, I'm so sorry you feel that way. You can say, I'm sorry, that must feel awful. Please help me understand. But to be dismissive and say, I'm sorry you feel that way, it erodes trust and intimacy, because essentially you are deflecting accountability. I'm sorry you feel that way. In other words, that's your problem. Screw you. That's kind of what you're telling your kid. Another common mistake parents make is they make excuses for their behavior. If you would just listen to me, if you would just be on time, if you would just clean your room, if you would just stop overreacting, if you would just turn in your phone at night, if you would just break up with your boyfriend, then I wouldn't. Then I wouldn't lose my temper. Then I wouldn't get mad at you. Then I wouldn't have to punish you. No. No, 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 no. No excuses for behavior. And if you've had somebody do this to you, you understand how awful it feels and how much it damages the relationship. Because this is still wanting that person to change for you to get you to behave yourself so that you don't have to mess up. No, be your best regardless of how other people behave. Do not justify or blame. I was tired. You knew that I had a bad day. You always hound me until I blow up. If you would just listen the first time and accept my answer, then I wouldn't freak out. You're only nice to me when you want something. None of that business, because we're looking at relationships as transactional, as very surface, and again, we are shunning accountability. We want somebody else to control how we think, feel, and behave. And newsflash, teenagers are really bad at this. They can't even control themselves. So you have to control yourself and model that for them. And they might pick it up in a few decades. That's kind of the patience that I like to go into any situation with. Okay? And then the last one, and this one is so hard. Don't defend yourself. Don't defend yourself. When they have genuine experiences that hurt them, be open to their perspective being just as valid as yours. I have been with teenagers sobbing My dad threw me against the refrigerator and yelled in my face. And then he blamed me for it, or he defended himself because I was being so stupid. No, they don't have to be the same. Your perspective and theirs. They do not have to be the same for both of you to have a valid experience. This doesn't mean that you let them blame you for every problem or hurt, but you can own your role and not take on their choices and consequences. This sounds like, I'm sorry you felt bored and neglected, and that's valid. It's also your choice to seek how you deal with that boredom and neglect. If you're a couch potato playing video games, if you turn to drugs, yeah, I could have done better, and you could have made better choices too. Let's correct this together. That's how a collaborative conversation sounds rather than you defending yourself. Their perspective, their motivation to behave how they do is just as valid as yours. And when I say valid, I don't mean correct or good. I mean understandable and pretty predictable, honestly, with human behavior. So we don't want to defend ourselves, and we don't want to take on everyone else's emotions. It's really important to get a clear picture of what is on which side of the street. What is on my side of the street for me to clean up, and what is on their side of the street for them to manage. Are they handing me stuff from their side of the street? Am I trying to hand them stuff from my side of the street? This is how you can get really, really clear so that you can easily catch and correct manipulative or abusive behavior, whether it's coming at you or coming out of you. And there's no judgment here. We've all been on both sides of this to varying degrees. Information is really helpful so that we can better navigate relationships, including the one with ourselves, and being honest as to why certain things are really hard for us. And I've recognized a few reasons why it's really hard for parents to apologize and to allow children to point out the mistakes that we make. And all the reasons essentially boil down to us wanting to be good and worthy of love. Society, our family of origin, maybe our spouse or siblings. The world teaches us that we have to earn love and approval, that we have to be worthy to be loved, and that means we have to be perfect. We have to have the perfect body to be desirable. We have to be the perfect angel for people to like us. Then we mess up. We don't want to mess up, because then that means we aren't worthy of love, and that feels really scary. But what I've noticed is that when we honestly apologize and we own our mistakes, it's a practice in grace for ourselves, for our children. And this is how we can really access love and connection to fill that void that otherwise is really hard to fill, especially when deep down we know we were wrong, but we can't actually face it and own it and correct it. Please consider applying this. I always love a good review wherever you listen to your podcast. I wish you the best. As always, I am here. Please reach out if you would like help applying this. The root of being able to apologize is in fact self-love. And the root of recognizing when somebody's apologizing to us and maybe it is less than genuine is also self-love. And so as you are chewing on this information, please hold it with so much love and consideration for yourself, for your children, recognizing that maybe that deep-rooted desire of wanting to be seen as good, aka perfect, is in fact false and really unhelpful and causing a lot of damage. And it's okay for our children to point out all the ways we mess up. And if they are sharing that with us, that's actually really great news, because first and foremost, it means that they feel safe enough to share that with us. And they're still fighting for a real connection and relationship with us. Because kids who think there's no hope, they just nod and say, yeah. And they avoid the conflict and they just remove themselves slowly from your life because they don't trust you and they don't want you. And so if kids are pointing out how you're getting it wrong, they might not do it very well, but it is actually an act of love because they want to connect with you. They're wanting you to correct behavior so that they can have a better relationship with you. And that is, in fact, a beautiful thing. We'll talk to you next week, my friends.